right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you're situated on this great, big, beautiful blue globe floating through the void of Yah's creation. It's a Monday. It's the 15th of December, 2025. And these are the WTF reports. I'm holding the media feet to the fire because they're lying again. And guess what? You won't be trusted anymore. Alrighty then. Yeah, I just had to make a little EQ adjustment here. Changed a couple of settings here on my mixing board here. Anyway, good morning. This is Dave vonKleist. These are the WTF reports. And as always, I'm here with the facts. WTF. And if that makes you exclaim WTF, well then so be it. All right, so much going on, so much every day. It's like a soap opera. How can I not? You can't look away sometimes, you know. Anyway, got a bunch of things I want to touch upon. And, of course, over the weekend, everybody's talking about the first day of Hanukkah. And there was not one but two shootings that went on. Of course, the big one is going on in Australia at Bondi Beach. And a lot of people are looking at this and saying, wait a minute, this stinks to high heaven. This doesn't add up. And people are seeing through it. Yes, they are. One gentleman posted the following. This is a guy from Australia. I believe his name is Ray Yosef. And let's hear what he has to say.
Bondi Beach in Australia is 100% an Israeli false flag. 100% confirmed for so many reasons.
And we will ask about why he was saying that. There are a couple of reasons, and a lot of people are scratching their head. Do continue, sir.
Not only did Benjamin Netanyahu come out literally to the second afterwards and blame Iran.
He did.
And he even tried to claim the hero of the shooting was a Muslim by the name of Ahmed. Ahmed's another name for Muhammad twice. He tried to claim him as Jewish. They have been caught red-handed. All the details will come out if we run away with this thing first. Because guess what? These guys get away with false flags all the time, because no one calls them out. Was the police, when they arrest these guys, traces disappear like the six dancing Israelis in New York on 9/11, sent back to Israel.
Okay, I'm going to pause it right there. Now, one of the reasons why he's taking this particular stand is because reports have come in that the Australian police officers stood down. Yeah, they were called there and they didn't do anything. And the guy that did tackle one of the shooters was Muslim. Of course, that doesn't fit the narrative, okay? Right off the bat, the first thing Netanyahu says, he tried to blame Iran for it. So, I mean, none of this stuff is working anymore. I'm not going to play the whole dissertation. Of course, he was bringing up the 9/11, and it brings up a whole bunch of other reasons why we should challenge the official story of all of these different events, these terrorist events. But it just seems that always seems to come back to the same group of people. It really does. So, anyway, I wanted to touch real quick upon that because, you know, the research that people are doing, this guy that they're saying that was the shooter. Let me see if I can pull it up here. They said his name was Ahmed. However, they're saying his real name was David Cohen, and he was a former IDF soldier. Okay? So how is this? Well, wait a minute. Wait a second. Why would an IDF, Mossad, Israeli, whatever, go and attack a group of individuals, of Jewish individuals at Bondi Beach celebrating the first day of Hanukkah? Well, we've seen it time and time again. I mean, different groups out there will, they'll paint, a Jewish group will paint swastikas on their own building and then try to blame somebody else. They've actually got people on video doing exactly that. So there are good reasons. Now, I'm not saying that this is exactly what happened, but this is why there are suspicions. People have a right to be suspicious because we've seen it time and time and time again. So this whole Bondi Beach thing, we're going to have to see how this is going to unfold. But there are a lot of people asking a lot of legitimate questions because the actions being taken by Israel are scaring the heck. I'm telling you, you folks out there that are Zionists or Jews, you got to stand up against the insanity of the government of Israel. They're not doing you any good. The reason that Jews are in trouble right now and they're being targeted is because people see what Israel's doing and they say, okay, all you Jews are bad. No, not all of them are. But anyway, here's one Jewish guy basically explaining the same thing.
As a Jewish person, I don't feel safe right now. And it's not because I'm outside of Columbia University. It's because of the crimes of the state of Israel. Don't get it twisted. It's not that Israel is unsafe because it's Jewish. Jews are unsafe because of Israel.
Bingo.
That's what happens when a country uses Judaism as a cover for its ongoing oppression, dispossession, dehumanization, and killing of the Palestinian people. It puts Jews everywhere in danger. Free Palestine.
Bam. Okay.
Jewish.
So the point is here's a Jew that's saying free Palestine. Now, why do you suppose he would say that? That seems to be sacrilege if you're a Jew, right? No. I mean, there's a lot of Jews out there that don't know the difference between the Talmud or the Torah. And I mean, it's just they're Jews in name only. And the Israelis, of course, they love to hide behind the Star of David, claiming, Judaism. But wait a second, don't the Jews and the Christians have the same 10 commandments? Thou shalt not bear false witness. In other words, you don't lie. So what's the motto of the Israeli Mossad and the IDF? Quote, by deception, thou shalt make war. Now that sounds, instead of a motto, that sounds like a commandment. By deception, thou shalt make war. By deception, you lie. Make war, you kill. That's 2 commandments right now that they're breaking. So this is why a lot of the, biblical Old Testament Jews are PO'd at Israel. Because they're not following the Torah. They follow the Talmud. And the Talmud is a whole different thing. And this is what Ursula Vandeleer was talking about the Talmud.
Europe is the values of the Talmud.
No, they don't.
The Jewish sense of personal responsibility, of justice, and of solidarity.
Okay, so how many people have actually read the Talmud or at least gone through and taken a look at some of the highlights? Now, a lot of people have never heard of that, but they better well find out because there's a whole, it's like we're not talking about apples and oranges. We're talking apples and power tools. It's a whole different ball game. So anyway, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the phone lines. I didn't have open lines Friday. So I'm going to open up the phone lines. If you want to call in, Cynthia, you can do that. 215-867-8255. Now, again, it's 215-867-8255. Now, I don't want to go too down the rabbit hole with this Bondi Beach issue. There's still a lot of stuff coming out. But, I found it really interesting that the guy that saved the day was a Muslim. Yeah. And the guys that were shooting, the reports are now coming in that they were Israelis. So, again, we have to look at this and say, wait a minute. And how is it we had 2 shootings on the first day of Hanukkah? And I find it really interesting. Of course, the world temperature here is really, they're just ginning up the anti-Semitism, and all across Australia. Netanyahu is blaming the Australians for not doing enough to stop anti-Semitism. And yet across the board on the media in Australia, here's what they're saying.
Anti-Semitism is on the rise. Anti-Semitism is on the rise.
The rise in anti-Semitism in Australia. The rise in anti-Semitism in Australia.
Anti-Semitism is on the rise.
Anti-Semitism is on the rise.
The rise in anti-Semitism. The rise in anti-Semitism.
The rising levels of anti-Semitism. The rising of anti-Semitism.
Across the board, this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
Anti-Semitism in Australia. Anti-Semitism in Australia.
The level of anti-Semitism in Australia.
Okay, let's just stop that. This goes on for another 20 or 30 seconds here, and there's no need to do that. But the point is that they say is a lie told often enough becomes the truth. And they're equating people who are opposed to Israel as being anti-Semites. And most of the people that are claiming this don't even know what a Semite is. They just don't know. So, this is the propaganda. This is the gaslighting. This is the programming. This is the manipulating. This is the brainwashing that's been going across the board and across the world by the mainstream media. And this is why for the past 30 flaming years I've been screaming about the mainstream media, and I start every show saying I'm going to hold the media's feet to the fire because they deserve to have their feet to the fire. It's not hard. So we have to be really careful, folks. There's so much misinformation out there. We have to, really cross our T's and dot our I's when it comes to, understanding what's going on and doing a little bit of research. Now, it's pretty easy to get snookered these days. We all get snookered. We all get fooled, But this is all the more reason why we have to do diligence and try to figure out what's right and what's wrong, because everything is deception. And I've said this for years: any system, whether it be a religious or political system, that is dependent upon deception for its existence is destined to collapse. Sooner or later, the truth will win out. And our entire Western world is based upon deception. And of course, it's all coming to a head with Israel in the spotlight right now. And like I've said so many times, there are people that just don't do any research. They only go by what they're being told over and over and over again by the mainstream media.
Anti-Semitism we're seeing in Australia.
Anti-Semitism. And people don't even know what a Semite is. They don't even know. So this is why we've got to be really careful. Now, I'm going to change gears a little bit. A lot of people now, myself included, have been watching the developments with this AI Atlas thing. Now, they said that now there's a piece of it that broke off or separated or whatever, but there's another piece of this AI Atlas now that is broken off, and it's looking like it's going to move into the Earth orbital path. Now, I don't know if this is true or not. I don't know what to believe anymore. I don't believe NASA. I don't believe a lot of the stuff that I see on social media. I mean, for all we know, this whole AI Atlas thing could just be a great big cloud of smoke. But there are individual independent astronomers who have been taking pictures and putting this stuff out there and saying, "Wait a second, this whole thing is bizarre." Now, are they setting up Operation Bluebeam? I don't know. But remember what Ronald Reagan said back in 1987.
Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
Isn't that interesting? Okay, so that was 1987. Now, this past year, and well, as a matter of fact, for the past couple of years, I have mentioned this before, there's a website called IngersollLockwood.com. If you haven't checked it out, you really need to. It's a fascinating website. And you have to move your cursor over every letter, punctuation mark, every space. There are hidden links everywhere. And they take you to different documents that will blow your mind. One of them is the 2022 UAP assessment from the Pentagon. So they've been setting the table for quite some time, getting the American people and indeed the people of the world prepared to start thinking a little bit more about extraterrestrials, aliens, intelligence. Remember, 2 years ago, on New Year's Day, at the, what was it called? It was the mall down there in Miami. Oh, yeah, the Marketplace Mall. And there was a sighting there. People were saying that there was an 8 to 10 foot tall alien wandering around the mall, and they called in hundreds of police cars, first responders. There were helicopters flying overhead. They shut down the airspace over Miami. And the official story was that it was a bunch of teenagers having a fight with sticks. Right. Okay, well, that was 2 years ago on New Year's Day, right around the holidays. All right, so that was 2 years ago. So 1 year ago, we were having all those drones and orbs that were flying over New Jersey and New York and Connecticut. Remember that? All right, that was 1 year ago, and that was during the holidays. So here we are approaching the holiday season. Now, they say things happen in threes. So now we've got this 3-eye atlas thing to worry about. And supposedly it's going to be the main piece of this thing. They're saying it's about the size of the island of Manhattan, about 10 or 11 miles long or something. And they're saying that this thing is going to be closest to the Earth on December 19th. Well, I find it interesting that the solstice is coming up 2 days afterward, the 21st, and now they're saying that the piece of this thing is broken off and is moving towards Earth's orbital pattern. And I'm not saying it's going to hit Earth or anything like that, but I find it interesting that, little by little, this happened, and then that happened, and then this happened. And so all eyes now are looking at this, and I can't help but think that maybe, just maybe, there's something coming down the pike. And let's not forget that it was 2 weeks ago that they released this documentary. It's available now, I believe, on Amazon or Prime or wherever. And this documentary is called The Age of Disclosure. And this comes after they've been having all the congressional hearings, all these military personnel, political figures, all coming out and saying, yes, aliens are real. As a matter of fact, NBC filed the following report in regard to aliens. This is NBC News, folks.
Aliens exist, and President Trump knows about it. That's according to Israel's former space security chief. In an interview with an Israeli newspaper, he said the aliens have been waiting until today for humanity to develop and reach a stage where we will understand in general what space and spaceships are. NBC News chief global correspondent Bill Neely explains this one.
Basically, what she's saying, the aliens have been waiting for humanity to wake the F up. Wake up!
Hi, Alison. Well, this is quite a story, and it comes from the man who headed Israel's space security program for nearly 30 years. Chaim Eshed is making the extraordinary claim that the United States and Israel have been in contact with a group of aliens for years. Not immigrants, but extraterrestrials. He has called them the Galactic Federation of Aliens, and he says President Trump is aware of the existence of these aliens and had been on the verge of revealing their secrets, he claims, but was asked not to do so by the Federation in order to prevent what he calls mass hysteria. Well, the retired general says the US and Israel have kept it from the public because, quotes, humanity isn't ready and the aliens don't want to reveal themselves until humanity can evolve, he says, and understand what space really is. Well, the good news is that he claims an agreement has been reached between the US government and the aliens, a contract to do experiments here. There's also, he says, a secret underground base on Mars where there are American and alien representatives.
Interesting. NBC News. Yeah, and like I said, they just released this documentary called The Age of Disclosure, and here's one of the promos that they put out for it.
The American people are ready to receive the truth.
Humanity is not the only intelligence in the universe.
Humanity is not the only intelligent species.
We are absolutely not alone.
Non-human intelligence exists.
UAPs are real, they're here, and they're not human. I spent 25 years as a senior official with the CIA.
I worked on highly classified UAP programs.
28 years as an astrophysicist.
I served as the 4th Director of National Intelligence.
Director of Aviation Security in the National Security Council.
The one-star admiral after 32 years of service.
People that come forward with this, I feel like they've taken their life in their own hands.
I was recruited to a highly sensitive government program that investigated unidentified aerial phenomenon.
For over 16 years, on behalf of the U.S. government, I worked as a senior intelligence official on the unidentified aerial phenomenon topic.
We learned that the U.S. government was involved in a long-running secret war with other nations to collect and reverse engineer vehicles not made by humans.
I have seen with my own eyes non-human craft and non-human beings.
It's rotating. There's a whole fleet of them.
The first country that cracks the code on this technology will be the leader for years to come.
China has established its own version of a UAP task force.
You think for a second that they wouldn't consider using it to achieve their ends of domination?
This is similar to the Manhattan Project. This is the atomic weapon on steroids.
This is so secret, very, very few people in our entire government have been allowed access to it.
Even presidents have been operating on a need-to-know basis. But that begins to ramp out of control.
It's not acceptable to have secret parts of government that no one ever sees.
You better be careful about a government that doesn't trust its people, because there's no telling what they'll pull on you.
This is the biggest discovery in human history.
You had information being locked away that could change the trajectory for a species.
It has so many beneficial impacts, including clean energy.
We should have disclosure today. We should have disclosure tomorrow. The time has come.
What else you want to know?
So, are they setting the table for Operation Bluebeam? Is that what's going on? I don't know. I'm just curious. How are you feeling about this? What are your thoughts on these? The possibility that we may have some sort of alien contact coming up sometime soon. What are your thoughts? If you want to give me a call, you're welcome to do so. 215-867-8255. Are we going to be set up? Are we going to see something else happen? Like I said, things happen in threes. So, I don't know, man. It's an interesting time to be alive. That's for doggone sure. Anyway, okay, in other news, let me see, a couple other things I wanted to touch upon here. The issue with Candace Owens and Erica Kirk. Well, supposedly the two of them are going to meet today in person, eye to eye. That's the report. I don't know if that's actually going to happen, but I'd love to be the fly on the wall to hear that conversation. And I find it really interesting. Erica has been making the rounds. She's doing one appearance after another TV interviews. I mean, she's just pumping this whole thing, and it looks sus. It is absolutely suspicious as heck. And I'm curious to know why none of the interviewers ever bring up Romania. Nobody ever breathes a word about what happened with the Romanian Angels issue and the connections that this organization had with the military over there. Now, why is there no conversation with that? Maybe that's just a taboo subject. I don't know. But there are a lot of people out there that are, asking some really tough questions. Now, there are some people that don't like people who ask questions. Believe me, I know that firsthand. But there is a former narcotics investigator, and he has some questions for Erica Kirk. Let's see what he has to say.
Erica Kirk, I hope you find this message and watch it. Why in the world are you so against Americans trying to look into and investigate the unaliving of Charlie? We don't understand it. You seem to shut down anything that we bring to the table or any red flags that we raise for some reason. And that look of evil in your eyes every time somebody questions something and you respond to it is mind-boggling to everybody. You go on your podcast and you are laughing and cutting it up with all your little TP people, people that may be in on this, who knows?
Maybe.
We definitely know that Charlie was looking into scandals and fraud that were being played out by Turning Point employees.
Oh, yes. By the way, scandals and fraud. Yeah, the Constitution Project has been doing some very in-depth investigation into the financials of TPUSA. And I suppose it's, shall we just call it, a can of worms or maybe a 55-gallon drum of worms that's being exposed. We'll just have to see. Time will tell.
That was clear in the messages that Candace provided, which you guys didn't get mad about. You got mad about her providing the messages and the proof, but you didn't get mad about what the actual messages were about. But we just want to know, why are you so upset with all of us who are trying to actually look into and get justice for Charlie? You should be the one fighting for justice for Charlie, but we're the ones doing it. And you seem to get ticked off every time somebody brings up a question about something that happened that doesn't seem right. And there's a reason why it doesn't seem right. Because it ain't right.
That's
right.
We
don't believe this nonsense that you guys are peddling, and we're going to get to the bottom of it. See you guys on the next video.
Yeah, well, we should get to the bottom of it, because just the one issue, the one thing in the official narrative is that Tyler Robinson shot Charlie Kirk with a .30-06. Now, that alone, I mean, 100% of all the ballistics experts that have run tests have said every single time there's no way that Charlie was unalived by a 30-06. No way. Because if it had been a 30-06, his head would have been splattered all over the back curtain of the TPUSA tent. And there's a good chance that other people would have been killed as well. I mean, 100%. One ballistic expert after another, videotaping what happened when they shot through, a simulated human skull, a huge piece of meat or flank from a cow or something, through cinder blocks, steel. I mean, they've been running all kinds of tests, and every single time there's just no way a 30-06 could have been the tool or the weapon used to kill Charlie. That one issue alone blows the official narrative right off the wall. It does. As a matter of fact, it blows the official narrative away with a 30-06. Anyway, but then there's all the other stuff, about Tyler Robinson getting to the campus, going up under the roof, changing his clothes, assembling the rifle, taking a shot, putting the rifle back together again, leaving the screwdriver. And how he left the screwdriver, I don't know, because they say that when he got back to the woods where he dumped the rifle, he put the thing back together without a screwdriver. I mean, it's just so much that doesn't make sense. And God help you if you ask questions. You'll see the scowl of Erica Kirk. So, yes, we have every good reason to doubt the official narrative. And people want to know what happened. And it's not a matter of whether or not you were a Charlie Kirk fan or not. The whole thing stinks to high heaven. It does. So, hopefully, time will tell. We'll figure this out. We'll get to the truth sooner or later. That is, if we're willing to do the research and open our minds, because we've been told over and over and over again this. And when you find out that it's that, it's hard to make the adjustment. Like Mark Twain said, it's always easier to fool people than it is to convince them they've been fooled. And Joseph Goebbels, who was Hitler's propaganda minister, he said, a lie told often enough becomes the truth. And the bigger the lie, the more apt people are to believe it. So, I mean, they use this methodology all the time. All the time. So, anyway, quick break.
Get More Tank will save you money every month on gas. Get More Tank is a tablet with active ingredients that adds big mileage to every tank. Made in America, the Get More Tank formula is used by trucking companies and heavy industry. Now the Get More Tank formula is available to you. Get More Tank works in any gas or diesel engine, cleans your engine, lowers emissions, and you'll feel improved engine performance every time you step on the gas. Get More Tank works for cars, trucks, boats, motorcycles, four-wheelers, mowers, and blowers. Hey, if you got an engine, then Get More Tank. Contractors, electricians, plumbers, painters, and lawn service companies, Get More Tank will save you money and extend the life of your engines. If you're an owner-operator running your big rig around the town or across the country, Get More Tank will save you money too. If you're a farmer, all of your equipment can use Get More Tank. A 5-pack on sale at GetMoreTank.com for just $22.22 plus shipping. Use the promo code REDPILL101 and get 10% off. Save your money, save your engine, save the earth at GetMoreTank.com. Get More Tank is EPA registered, doesn't void warranties, results vary.
And you can get More Tank by visiting our website, TheWTFReports.com. Click on the sponsors page and it'll take you down to a window where you can click on it and read all the specifications and details about what this stuff is, how and why it works, and why this fuel catalyst, not a fuel additive, it's a fuel catalyst. You'll find out why this thing works so well, why your engine will clean itself up, you'll have more power, and after a couple of tanks, you will start to see your improvement in mileage, anywhere between 15 and 20%, depending upon your make, model, year of vehicle, and your driving habits. So you will save money. You'll save the planet, save the environment, save yourself some money. Get More Tank. Go to our website, The WTF Reports, click on the sponsors page, and get More Tank.
I used to believe everything I'd see on the news, but that's before I discovered a brain.
A brain is meant for everyday use. Those living with moderate to severe stupidity have seen immediate improvement in common sense with a brain.
I thought the government had my best interests at heart, and then a friend told me about a brain.
Talk to your doctor about what news sources you obey. A brain may also lower your desire to take life-altering advice from celebrities.
Getting lectured about my carbon footprint from people with 3 private jets used to make sense. But thanks to a brain, now I can think for myself every day. When my disregard for third-grade biology began to flare up, I knew it was time for a brain.
Do not try a brain if you're allergic to a brain. Common side effects may include accountability, discernment, homeschooling your kids, a better understanding of economics, awareness of the stupidity of socialism, and diarrhea.
For tethering yourself to reality, the only no-brainer is choosing a brain. Ask your doctor if a brain is right for you.
For more information, visit tryabrain.com.
I love it. Using a brain is a no-brainer. I love it. And the word accountability, I heard that in there. Well, there's a lot of people that are using that word a lot these days. I mean, how many months and months and months now have gone by? Trump got into office, and it's coming up on a year now. He's been in 11 months, almost 11 months. And where's the accountability? Where are the arrests? Everybody's waiting. Yeah, hey, day one Bondi. Yeah, day one Kash Patel. Day one Dan Bongino. Day one President Trump. Where is the accountability? Where? We know that we've seen treason everywhere. We know that we've got insider trading everywhere. We know that there was election fraud everywhere. We know that the borders were opened up under the Biden administration by people who were committing treason. Treason, folks. Where's the accountability? Oh, and then we get into this thing about the hokey-pokey thingy-dingy. How come there's no accountability with that? Why is Bill Gates still walking around free? Why is Mark Zuckerberg allowed to continue to walk around free? All the people who were involved in the propaganda, the lockdowns. I mean, there's some people out there that are asking really tough questions. And we all know that we were right in the first place. Why do you think that they just put black box warnings on some of these vaccines? They had to. That's because Del Bigtree and the people he was working with released their documentary, An Inconvenient Study. If you haven't seen it, you've got to see it. Do a search, look for An Inconvenient Study, watch it, share it, and wake some people up. Because now people are really ticked off. I mean, seriously. What happened over the past 5 years? Well, here's a post from a woman by the name of Shannon. She says, I stand with America.
All right, who's going to jail? That's all I want to know.
Yes.
Because it started with it was safe and effective and do your part and do it for grandma and you'll get a burger and a donut if you do it. And you'll get to eat with your loved ones if you do it. And you get to keep your job if you do it. And you get to go see your dying loved ones and then their funeral if you do it.
More gaslighting.
And if you get the thing, then you won't get it. I promise. And you won't give it to others. I promise.
Right.
And your kids should get it. And oops, sorry, we were wrong. So now you need to keep getting more.
Correct.
And you're dangerous and crazy if you don't get them.
Totally.
Oh, and that heart problem and those seizures and that autoimmune condition and that stroke and those menstrual infertility issues.
Don't worry about that.
And those reactions and that death. Oh, yeah, that's not related.
Don't worry about that.
Well, how do you know? Oh, it's just not related. Stop being one of those racist anti-vaxxers. Follow the science.
That's what
I'm surprised they didn't say you're an anti-Semite if you don't take the hokey-pokey thingy-dingy.
I was accused
And now here's how it's going in 2025. The FDA is planning to put a black box warning on COVID shots by the end of 2025.
Correct.
Now, what is a black box warning, you might ask? It's the strongest type of safety alert issued by the FDA for prescription or over-the-counter medications.
Why isn't it taken off the market? I'm waiting. Why haven't they taken it off the market? And by the way, they also looking at the hepatitis B vaccine and the Gardasil vaccine and the measles vaccine and all the other vaccines. Again, I refer to Del Bigtree's documentary, An Inconvenient Study. All the vaccines. Why don't they take them off? Shing. Why don't they take them off? Shing. Why don't they take them off the market? Shing.
It highlights serious or potentially life-threatening risks associated with a drug based on medical studies or evidence of preventable adverse effects.
Mm-hmm.
So again, the question we should all be asking right now is who the is going to jail?
Exactly. So this is my question for this administration, and I'm not playing politics, but why aren't these people already locked up?
Why? And please don't give me this crap about it's Republicans versus Democrats. They're all in on it. Every single one of them. Hey, MAGA, that means all your boys too.
Why aren't they locked up? I tried to warn people back in 2020.
Okay, I'll tell you. Let's grab the phone call. I'll put that on pause there. Okay, welcome to the show. Let me see. What's the number there? Is it Cynthia? Hello, sweetie.
Are you sure I'm welcome?
Of course you're welcome. You heard me right in the beginning. Okay. Hey, I called you out. I said, okay, I'm gonna open up the phone line, Cynthia. Go ahead. What do you got?
Well, a couple of thoughts. One of which is the vaccines were not meant necessarily for profit, but to bring down humanity. And the history of vaccines being used in order to hurt people goes all the way back to the Boer War, where they experimented on the Dutch that were in South Africa, and even on the African populations. So that's a nefarious history that's been well hidden. And AIM, Americans for Truth, oh my God, I have to remember that, exactly how that is. It's also known as Christians Addicted to Truth. I'll send you a link to their work, okay? They have extensively covered that, the best I've seen. So the other idea is, rather than thinking about an alien invasion, bringing the people on Earth together, how about a worldwide effort to bring down the international banksters? Now, their governments aren't going to like that, but I think that's what we need to promise to these people of other nations, is that we were damaged by the international banksters. Just look at the Civil War. Michael Gaddy is gathering the evidence that the Rothschilds toured the United States, setting up a network of people to help bring out secession, to avoid compromise. And of course, that is actually an act of war. So they actually were declaring war on us after Andrew Jackson wouldn't renew their bank charter. And so they have pulled shenanigans like this all over the planet as they went after the resources of those populations, of those diverse populations. So we really actually have something in common. And that is what we really need, is a worldwide effort to bring down the international banksters, and not to let them use their population as UN troops to go in and start more wars, because that's what they've been doing, starting wars and troops.
Well, I would suggest we take it a step further, okay? Yeah, I agree with you that we have to get rid of the international banksters, the Federal Reserve, the Rothschild mentality. We have to get rid of that. What I'm advocating for, and I know this sounds utopian or idealistic or what have you, humanity has to mature. Humanity has to get past this concept of he who dies with the most stuff wins. It's not about money. It's not about stuff. That's not how you lay your treasures up in heaven. It's what you do for your fellow man. That's what creates real wealth, spiritual wealth, emotional wealth. It's not about making money, and it's not about stacking your coins, et cetera, or counting your bank account. And as long as that's the mentality of humanity, and that's how we measure a man's worth, well, then we'll never get out of this, and we'll never get rid of the international bankers, because greed and pride and ego is in the way. So until humanity matures and wakes up and gets past the materialism, gets past this lust for money and power, we'll never get rid of the banksters. And that's my 2 cents on it. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So I want to mention that there were 4 leaders of countries, none of them Caucasians, that stood up to the COVID mandate nonsense. They refused to vaccinate their population. And 3 of them were black men who were leaders of their countries, and they all died suddenly.
Yeah, they were unalived quickly. Yep.
Right, clearly assassinated. One was a Japanese leader.
Mm-hmm.
So there are people out there. You have to hunt high and low, and that's why I'm asking radio hosts to think about, in America, think about running for presidential elector status. It's one elector for every 30,000 persons, direct democracy. That is one of the few parts of our republic that is a direct democracy, which is that you have the right, every 30,000 persons, to select one person to be your presidential elector.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, party elites were given that privilege by the legislatures unconstitutionally, beginning before Abraham Lincoln came into office, and that's probably how that tyrant got into office. And I know there's a lot of worship of Abraham Lincoln, but we don't worship a man. We worship God. Right?
Yeah.
And then you keep that in mind. He closed down he arrested 14,000 members of the press. He kidnapped and deported a member of Congress who stood up to him. He disbanded Congress, and he had no authorization to invade Virginia, which by then was a different country. So we have a whole history that's been covered up there.
Yeah.
But going back to the fact we need to do an international movement to take down the banksters, and everything they own needs to be confiscated.
Yes.
And redistributed. They are quadrillionaires.
Oh, yeah.
They're not just millionaires. People that got to get past this being upset about millionaires and billionaires, those are simply the billionaires are simply the front people, so we won't even think about those trillionaires.
Right. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And what's the point? And this is, why does anybody need that much? Now, I'm not advocating for socialism or communism or anything like that. But I mean, my gosh, if I have $500 in my pocket and I come to a stoplight and there's some homeless veteran there and I give him $5, okay, I give him 1% of the $500 that's in my pocket. Does that make me a socialist? Does that make me a communist? Seriously. If I have $500 and I give a homeless guy $5, does that make me a communist? No, it does not. So let's apply that to some of these incredibly wealthy people like Jeff Bezos or Zuckerberg or Elon Musk or something worth hundreds of billions of dollars, okay? If they gave 1%, 1 flaming percent of their wealth to help somebody, to help the homeless, to help the people that don't have a place to live, I mean, does that mean that they're socialist or communist? No. It means that they are benevolent and that they help people, okay? But I mean, and how come they don't do that? I mean, some of these rich people, like I just mentioned, Musk or Bezos or Zuckerberg or Gates or whoever, they got more money than you and I could even imagine, and yet, what do they do with it? They want to figure out more ways to control, more ways to make more money, more ways to reduce the population. This is not humane. And this is why I think this whole thing, with, are aliens going to get in touch with us and try to, well, if we would wake the heck up, if we would get past this materialism and this mad dash towards wealth, maybe, just maybe, we could join the international galactic community. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm going off on a rant. Go ahead, Cynthia. I'm sorry.
Well, there are small things we can do which will help, which is when you see somebody begging, I have decided not to give money because I know that they use it on drugs. That said, the tobacco actually may benefit them if they had the COVID shots because the nicotine is useful in blocking the bad effects of the certain parts of the COVID vax.
Mm-hmm.
But stop at the grocery store and carry food around with you that you can give them that's not the super processed food. So, and the wheat products, by the way, have Roundup on them. Unless they're organic, they have Roundup almost always.
Mm-hmm.
And that damages the brain that appears to be related to the risk of addiction.
Okay.
And yet, if you follow homeless drug addicts in San Francisco, you find them buying wheat products, pastries.
Right.
And And that is often what's given to them at freebies. And instead, they really need fresh fruit, and they need. I personally like to hand them pistachios.
Okay.
Open a bag of pistachios and say, "Here, let me pour some in your hand, and let's put it." And you put them in your pocket, and let's do another handful, okay?
Yeah, nuts to you.
Well, real nuts, because peanuts are actually somewhat toxic to the gut.
Right. Okay.
Not really nuts. They're ground nuts, right? They're not really nuts. They are a legume, and they happen to be toxic.
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of find some common sense solutions in your communities. Maybe go out and have a big thermos of coffee, and as you go to work or go to catch the bus, have some paper cups with you and pour people a cup of coffee.
Mm-hmm.
If they're sleeping, well, you may not want to wake them up. But if they're up moving around, offer them a cup of coffee. You probably made a pot of coffee, and you're going to pour the rest out. Pour it into a thermos. Take it with you. Just common sense solutions. I used to offer to buy them food in the store, like go in, let's buy food at the hot trays.
Mm-hmm.
And then I discovered the guy put $13 worth of barbecue. And I thought, well, that's a little more than I was planning on contributing to your day. So I started saying, well, okay, I'll buy you a meal, but it has to be vegetarian. And they say, well, no, I don't want it then.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, they're not hungry. They need vegetables because everybody needs vegetables almost always.
Well, so a lot of people just don't understand that. They just don't. Man, I need a burger, or get me a candy bar or something like that. You suggest fruits or vegetables. They go ew. So I get that, but so no, I understand that, but no, I just want to know. I just want to know why it is that these unbelievably, unimaginably wealthy people, don't do something to help their own country or their own neighborhood or their own state. Instead, they use their money to gain more control and get more money. If you pay whatever it is, $10 or $15 to go to a buffet, and you get in line and you just take all of this, you take all the chicken, all the pork, all the beef, all the veggies, and your food is dripping off your plate onto the floor, and you keep putting more food on there, and meanwhile people behind you, they don't have anything because you took it all. Say, wait a second, you're being greedy. Oh, it's okay, man, I paid, I can take as much as I want. Yes, you can, but you can't consume it all. I would venture to say, okay, well, somebody that has $200 billion, okay, how much would you have to spend to make you happy? Okay? I mean, it's a numbers game to some of these people. It's just so that they compare my bank account to your bank account. Okay, I got $230 billion. What have you got? Oh, I only have $210 billion. Oh, you're a loser. It's a mindset. It's a mentality. And this is the mindset and mentality that humanity has to get by. As long as they keep on chasing the almighty dollar, and that's their God, and it is their God. If it's deeds and not words, I don't care what your religion is. I don't care if you're Christian, Muslim, Jewish, Hindu, Buddhist, atheist. I don't care. But if you're chasing the almighty dollar above all else, then money is your God. And until we lose that particular goal in our evolution, we're never going to be able to ascend. So anyway, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Well, it may come back to the issue of goy and goyim.
Oh yeah, we all know I'm goy. I'm a goyim. You're a goyim. He's a goyim. She's a goyim. Wouldn't you like to be a goyim too?
I've never heard that tune.
That was an old Dr. Pepper. I'm a pepper. You're a pepper. She's a pepper. You remember that?
Okay, yes, I do. Now that you remind me, yes, I do.
Yeah, well, no, we're all Amalek. We are all goyim. I know. So.
Oh
anyway.
Man, I would love to turn the hip hopsters loose on that word.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, no, you'd be surprised. There are a lot of rap artists. I'm seeing all kinds of posts out there from Gen X and rap and all these other people. They're hip. They're getting hip to all this stuff. You know, the can of worms or the 55-gallon drum of worms has tipped over, and people are noticing. There's that magic word again, noticing. There will be hell to pay. All right, anything else? I'm going to wrap it up. We only got a couple of minutes left before the show's done. What do you got?
Well, Dave, I want to thank you for letting me call in.
Yeah.
I'd love to do a little thing on constitutional moments or on health tips for future prosperity.
Mm-hmm.
But you and I can talk about that offline.
Well, maybe we'll get around to doing that because, you know, constitutionality is something that we all need to be aware of. And unfortunately, most Americans have no clue. They've never read the Constitution. And as they say, if you don't know your rights, you don't have any. So, and this is why there's an effort all over the country to reassemble the jural assemblies in every state across the country. Now, a lot of people are not aware of the power of a jural assembly, the petite juries. We've all heard of a grand jury, but you don't hear about the petite jury. The petite juries are supposed to be assembled in every county in every state. And the petite jury has the power to immediately remove from office any elected or appointed official. And, of course, that's a lot of power. So that's why we were never taught about that. So I would suggest to the listeners out there, do some research into jural assemblies. We'll do a show on that sometime in the near future. So, all right.
You can also the oath of office violations?
Oh, yeah. How many of our elected officials do not have an oath registered? That's another thing, another can of worms.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. You have a good one. Thank you, my dear. Okay. Oh, man, that was interesting. Anyway, let me see. There were a couple of things. Do I have time to open up that can of worms? Oh, maybe so, maybe not. Let's see. Yeah, getting back to its own, this issue about this shooting down in the Bondi Beach. Let's see. Here's something that was just posted. Naveed Akram is an IDF soldier that served in Gaza and returned to Australia. Now, that is unconfirmed, and there are people saying that this is misinformation. However, some folks that did research on that gentleman's name found out that Israel did a search on his name 2 days before the shooting. That is rather curious. And that seems to be going on across the board. So, anyway, and getting back to this issue about asking questions, remember, Charlie Kirk said, and I quote, "You better keep asking questions because it's the only thing that will keep us free." That's what Charlie said. Meanwhile, Erica is screaming, "Stop asking questions." Oh, there's a lot of folks that are talking about Erica Kirk. There's a comedian. Oh, gosh, what's his name? Let me see, this was posted by Mr. Red Pills. Let me see, where's this guy's name? I can't remember it. But I played a couple of clips from this stand-up comedian in the past. But anyway, let's see, what time? I don't have enough time to do it anyway. All right, never mind. We'll save that for another time. Every day is different. Every day is, like I said, another episode in a live soap opera. And we're just going to have to, stay on the edge of our seats. I suppose that's part of the plan, Who knows what the heck is up, what is down. There's so much crap that's out there. But anyway, so which way do we go? We're going to have to see what's going to happen with this mano-a-mano meeting between Candace Owens and Erica Kirk. That's going to be real interesting. I'll have an update for you tomorrow. Anyway, that said... All right, that's going to wrap it up for today's installment of the WTF Reports. I appreciate your listenership, and if you're listening on Rumble, BitChute, YouTube, or Facebook, remember to click like, share, subscribe, and above all else, word of mouth, folks. Yes, there are words of sanity out there and words of insanity, and hopefully we can sort through them both. That said, we're going to be wrapping it up for today's installment. Thank you all for your listenership. Stay safe, stay free, and God willing, I'll see you tomorrow. God bless you all.
See the faces turn white.